All right. So with respect to MDI interview on 25th, Shivam, let's do this mock interview. So
Mhm.
why don't you begin by introducing yourself in a couple of minutes?
Absolutely. So, good evening, sir. First of all, really nice to be here. Uh, I come from an army background, so I have changed around 7 different cities and 9 different schools until my class 12th. So studies was something which was really important in our family because my father he joined the Indian Army as a Jawan, but 15 years down the line went on to become a commissioned officer. So because of this, I have tried to be among the top of my class even through shifting all these schools. Sports was something that is really close to me as well, and I've represented my basketball team both in college and school as well. Um, Apart from this, I love reading, particularly in the genre of Indian mythology, philosophy, psychology. And after my 12th, I ended up doing engineering at Manipal Institute of Technology. I did a couple of internships in the role of product design, data engineering, and sales and marketing roles. In my last semester, I got an internship at GL Technologies as a data engineer, and I'm associated with data GL Technologies for over 2 years now. So in the role of data engineering. So that's a quick intro about myself.
So
Uh,
Shivam, are you interested in Indian mythology also?
yeah, of course. Uh,
So can you tell me who was Barbarik?
uh, so Barbarik was the son of Ghatotgach.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, there is also like I think he's also the community god for Marwaris in Rajasthan. So
Okay.
he is celebrated in Rajasthan a lot.
Okay. And Barbarik was killed by who?
So uh, he wasn't exactly killed. Uh, I think so as far as my understanding goes, there are different versions of the story, but a very prominent story is that he had three arrows which could end the war. Like he was so powerful that he could end the Mahabharat war in a second. Or like with these three arrows. So first arrow would be marking all the territories. Second arrow would show that, and third arrow will kill it. So he has this idea of equality. So initially he wanted to join. So whichever sides was weak, he would join that. So initially he wanted to join the Pandavas, but Krishna realized that he would turn over to Kauravas because after some time into the war. Uh, the Pandavas will become stronger. So he said that this fight will go on until only Barbaric remains on the battlefield. So Krishna had said that this is what I would like you to. This is the issue here. So I would like you to stay away from the war. So he said that that's not possible. I'm warrior. So he said that okay, you have to. You can watch the war but can't participate. So I think they cut off his head and put it on a peepal tree on a hilltop, and that's where he watched the whole war
Okay.
from there.
Got it. Got it. So, Shivam, I have gone through your profile also, and I
Mhm.
understand that coming from army background, your father was in army, brings a
Is
lot of is in army is in
Yeah,
army.
yeah.
So, so it brings a lot of discipline, to your career, right?
Hmm.
So, working with jail technologies, if you can remember some instances where, being so disciplined has helped you, achieve your goals.
Right. Uh, uh, of course, it's not something as such an important one, but of course, when there are deadlines as which are coming or any important projects that are coming up, so being disciplined, getting so usually this is not only in gel technologies but even in my college life as well. So I tend to finish all my works before the actual deadline. I try to keep my internal deadlines, which are more aggressive than the actual ones, and I try to finish them. So I get that buffer time, which has played very important role, especially in my work life. In case there were some bugs identified or the data wasn't like which my role is, so data wasn't as per the requirement. So that buffer actually saves a lot of embarrassing phone calls and hectic phone calls. So there were some pretty incidents as well a couple of months back. So
Okay. Okay. So Shivam, can you tell me, you know, under what circumstances will discipline become a problem, uh, in the context of an MBA?
mhm. uh, so with discipline comes rigidity. Uh, uh, so so even with the experiences that I've had in the sales and marketing domain, I've realized that some things need a creative outlet. So some people would like to discuss ideas at night. Some people would like to, and if you're disciplined that the team isn't going to work after some time, or this is what I'm going to work about. So you might not be able to share those ideas, which is a very essential uh, point, or like sharing ideas of like discussing with your peers is a very important learning aspect. So that becomes a hindrance in discipline if you are like too rigid on the discipline aspect of it. So we need to balance out with giving out a creative leverage as well as being disciplined in other parts of life.
No, but I'm not clear. So you
Okay.
mentioned that with rigidity comes with discipline. So you will either, if you want to let go of rigidity, you'll have to let go of discipline also in some way.
Hmm.
Okay. So are you willing to let go of your discipline, which is deeply ingrained into you because of your father, just to pursue an MBA?
So no, I don't think it's a like say like complete black and white thing here because there is nothing. I don't agree that this is a black and white issue here, or because you can be disciplined in some aspects, which is how you look towards life, how you uh, have prepared towards the exam or prepares towards the assignment or that, and you can be creative towards other aspects of life, or like if you want to have a group discussion for that period you have to compromise. So it's a balance that you have to maintain, and that I feel that I have the right experience in managing all these acts.
No, so, but I'm not clear how. So Shivam, tell me,
Okay.
what time do you sleep?
I sleep at 10:30, 11.
So you sleep at 10:30, 11, and there would be hardly anyone at MDI
Mm-hmm.
who would be sleeping at 10:30, 11,
Mm-hmm.
because there are deadlines at 12 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, the case competitions deadlines are at 12 o'clock. And no matter how much do you work, it always seems lesser.
Mm-hmm.
So, plus you have a lot of assignments, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
surprise quizzes,
Mm-hmm.
for which you get the information only at 10:30 in the night.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you would be asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So how will you cope up with it? How will you cope up with the with the MDI, uh, you know, course and curriculum?
Right. Uh, So there is a very easy answer to this question if it's an individual task. So I'm sure if the deadlines information that we get at 10:30, is there like is it a 2 hour deadline or a 24-hour deadline?
So I'll tell you. See, the idea is very simple.
Hmm.
Most of the projects are group projects.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And and the deadlines can be a 4 hour deadline also. It can be a 2 hour deadline also. It can be a 1 day deadline also. So
Mm-hmm.
ranging from project to project, but certainly there'll be a few projects that will be compromised because and every will be complaining that this guy Shivam went to sleep at 10:30, leaving the
Uh-huh.
team alone.
Uh-huh.
So then how will you justify this, or will you change your ways? Will you tell me today in this interview that I'll start waking up till 1 o'clock?
Of course, I mean the team comes way above than a individual here. So I'm definitely going to change my pattern here. This is generally when there is nothing else to do because I start my day early. So by the time it's 10:30, 11, my body is accustomed to sleeping that. But for me, because I have been parts of various teams throughout my life, not like I'm not uh, starting from the very young age. So team for me has always been way above than individual preference here. Uh, so there is I don't think there
In a
is
team context, you will prefer a team. You will
definitely
work as per it.
any day.
With respect to the your individual preferences, will you keep discipline ahead?
Uh, for my individual preference, yes, but when a team comes in, I have to accommodate what.
So in your own assignments, let's say surprise quizzes, you get an intimation at 10:30 in the night.
Mhm,
By the time you are asleep,
mhm.
you get bad grades and you flunk the test.
O- Okay.
So how are you going to manage that? I'm really
Oh.
worried about it. Hence, I'm asking you.
So again, like I said, if it's just a 2 hours, I'm pretty sure I have like lots of friends. I'm going to have lots of friends in the college because I believe that I have that communication ability to,
But they are your competitors also, so they might not wake you up.
or if it's a 2 hour assignment, I'm pretty sure like I have. So competition it's not wrong to compete, I believe, but competition when the playground is leveled or that's when the real competition comes out.
No, but no one cares about real competition.
Oh, so
If in the end someone gets better grades, someone gets a better package,
mhm,
they are considered to be successful.
mhm.
So how will you tackle this? Okay, I get your stance, Shivam. I am certain that you are not going to give up on the discipline for your individual studies, and you are really going to compromise on that. So Shivam, I am sure you are aware of. Do you like reading? I am sure you really like, because you
Yes.
mentioned about some of the genres, but you like reading news also.
uh, uh, Reading the news, yes, but I also keep myself updated with news on other sources as well. uh,
Okay, okay. So Shivam, I'm sure you are aware of the Russia-Ukraine crisis.
yes.
Okay, so let me ask you a few questions. Who is the Prime Minister of Ukraine?
uh, Zelensky, uh,
You
Volstov,
can you you can
Volstov.
take 5 seconds and give me the right name. Pronounce it correctly.
Okay. So the first name I'm not very sure about, but the second, the last name is Zelensky, Volodymyr Zelensky, something along those lines.
Are you sure? Is he the Prime Minister or President?
Oh, so, yeah. So he is the president. I'm not sure about the prime minister, sir.
All right. Who is the Prime Minister of Russia?
Uh, I'm not sure, but if it might be Dmitry, the last I read.
I think the last you read was way back.
Okay.
Okay. So Shivam, you were working in with gel technologies.
Right.
Okay. So can you tell me, what does this crisis mean for the likes of gel technologies,
Mhm.
and what would be the implications in your view?
The Russia-Ukraine crisis.
Yes.
Okay. So for JLL as a company, we don't have much investment in the Eastern Europe part and Russia here. So we for us as a company, it's not going to affect much because most of our investments or like most of our revenue comes from the US and the West Europe. That's number one. But if you talk about the real estate in general, uh, again, I don't think over the long run it's going to even in the short duration, it's going to impact the real estate if we are not taking considerations the economic sanctions that might come into play here on Russia or
So do
India.
you do you do you think that the real estate sector will not be impacted?
There will be a bit of fluctuations, but it won't be directly impacted.
Which do you know which group of shares have been impacted the most by the news, as in the Russia-Ukraine news?
The crude oil,
The
the
realty sector. That's the worst hit sector as of now in the market.
okay,
That's why I was asking whether you like reading news or not.
okay,
So you should read a little bit more about it. Uh, so Shivam, You are up for MDI on 25th.
Mhm.
So can you tell me what are the values of MDI?
Uh, Excellence uh, in all activities.
Okay,
I think that's the statement
that's
that they
the
have.
that's the only value they have, which is excellence.
Uh,
Okay, what's the vision of MDI?
so I'm not aware of it.
Shivam, one final question before I let you go.
Mhm.
Apart from learning and earning, why do you want to do an MBA?
Uh, Apart from learning and earning, one of the most important factors that plays out is the peer group that I'll meet in an MBA, which is the high achievers or the cream of the society. So I would like to interact with them, see how they approach their life and what their view of life is, how what drives them, and in turn share my ideas with them. So this is another key factor that I have to do an MBA.
Okay, all right. So Shivam, let's come to the feedback part. Okay, you have your interview on 25th. Otherwise, I was really enjoying the conversation. I would have asked you a few more questions. However, I'd have to let you go so that you prepare a little better, especially on MDI front. Okay, let me show you something. Think in terms of your MDI Gurgaon specific preparation, you haven't done much. And I think you should really do that. I'm sharing something with you. You should tell me when you are able to see this. Okay. Uh, are you able to see the screen that I've shared,
Yep,
Shivam?
yep, yep.
So these are the core values of MDI: accountability, transparency, trust, inclusion, empathy.
Okay.
Okay, you can try and see if you can include any of these values as part of your answers. You should also understand what is the vision and mission of MDI is. Try and correlate with your journey, with your aspirations in the future. That way, you can showcase the research that you have done uh, on MDI. In fact, this is what I had done. I had associated my answer with the values, with the vision of also one thing that I used to do during my preparation days was I used to read the director's message for all the B schools that I used to appear for. I would I would read who the director is. I'll try and follow if they are there on LinkedIn or not. I will try and see what are their viewpoints, what are their latest activities, what is it that they have, what's their message as mentioned on the group. Apart from that, you should also try and see if MDI made into news recently. Apart from that, what clubs and committees are there? What is it that MDI differentiates itself as far as other B schools are concerned? So I think Young at 50. Do you read this?
Hmm.
MDI is uniquely poised to take on these challenges. So you will really understand the summary or the soul that MDI represents, right? So I think this is some aspect which you have to do better, Shivam.
Okay. Yeah.
Apart from that, I think sometimes you are speaking faster. Like in your initial answer, you spoke faster because you thought that I knew your answer, but you should really not do that. You should take a pace, and especially in an online setup, speaking faster might hurt the understanding of your answers and therefore your chances. Okay, so take care of that. Besides, I think structuring answer for a question that you have not prepared seems like a problem. Okay. So when you get a question which you have not prepared for, structuring that seems like an issue. So what you can do to resolve that is give yourself some scenarios, some random scenarios, and ask yourself to speak about it. Okay. So these are the development areas. I gave you the development areas because you really need to work on it for the next 24 hours. Apart from this, Shivam, I think you have really grown in confidence since the time we met last in the GIs. From that point to this point, I think you have really grown well on confidence. So that's really commendable. The way you approach the answers with confidence, with smile is something that I really appreciate about you. I think that's going to take you, quite far, not just into the B school, but far, far ahead. So keep that and work on these aspects as we mentioned. Okay. Do you have any questions, Shivam, before I let you go so that you can prepare?
So quickly, just to summarize, there are a couple of things. First is to understand the whole soul and vision mission of MDI. Number one, that
Yes.
of course
Yes.
I could figure out myself that that was complete blank on that part. Number
Yes.
two is my reality sector was understanding of Ukraine. I knew everything about Ukraine-Russia crisis,
But you
but
did not know the prime minister. Everyone will know Vladimir Putin. So if I have to maybe trick you, I will ask you something else,
mm,
which will be related to Ukraine, obviously, because I have mentioned it. Okay. And which will not be something which is, something which you can't know. Right. So therefore, I asked you, Prime Minister. And I asked you Prime Minister of Russia also, thinking that probably you will know, the Prime Minister of Russia. So check these aspects. Russia, Ukraine, what kind of governments are these? Okay. Why is this happening? What is this, alignment with NATO that Ukraine is trying to get into? All the aspects should be very, very clear. What is NATO? When did it start? Who are the members? Apart from that, when did this crisis start? Okay, what is the issue that happened in 2014 and has been carried forward so far into this? There were two states which were which were declared independent a couple of days back. So what is the story? Understand it in much greater detail. Also understand the reality sector a little better. Reality is obviously the worst hit sector once the this news came out about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So I think you should know this sector in a little greater detail in context of news, the current news which is there. You should also understand it in the context of budget. What is it that budget? How is budget impacting the sector? So I think these are some of the aspects that you should certainly take. If you are asked what are some of the reality stocks that one should select as part of their portfolio because you are from that sector, I think you should be able to answer that also. It's not about the stocks that you have to talk about. You can talk about the companies. If a company is good, the stock will be good. You don't need to know the financials to answer that question. Okay, so I think these are some of the aspects that I had that you need to correct, and I think you should be fine.
right. Also, this is and the third one is a structuring better answer for unheard questions.
Absolutely.
Record it. All right.
Right.
Sir, another question, a quick 1 minute.
Sure.
There's my interview is on 25th, but we were in Hyderabad, and this past week itself, we all moved to Ahmednagar. It's in Maharashtra, so the internet is a bit shaky. So I was thinking of postponing my interview. Like, is that a good option? Do you think?
Why would you want to postpone your interview? And so first you have to see the feasibility of, just because of internet connection, I would not suggest to
Okay.
you should get a good internet connection. Okay, what you can do is maybe search a place which has a better connection, and you should sit there and take it, because one, you don't know when will it be rescheduled, when will it happen, what will happen on that day. If it clashes with some other B school interview, it opens up a Pandora's box. So my suggestion would be, look for a better location, look for a maybe a better connection, and sort it out. If it does not happen, so right now I think your network is quite stable. So
I think it's because of night time.
Okay, in the daytime it's very patchy, is what you are saying.
Because it's all jungle outside this army cantonment.
Okay. No, I get it. I get it completely. You should try and see if you can maybe move to the city, nearby, maybe book a hotel room
Okay,
and do it.
so postponing is not a good option.
I don't think postponing is a good idea, because you don't know when will it be thrown, and I don't think postponing for this reason is a good idea.
Okay, all right, got
Okay,
it.
all right, Shivam. Take care. All the
Thank you.
best.
Thank you.